We're here because the government's so-called forum on security policy and neutrality is on here. Different forces of the anti-war movement and people who think it's important to protect our neutrality are protesting because this forum is a sham. It's stacked with people who are either military people, connected to the arms industry, people involved with NATO or the project of EU militarisation. And now they've seized on what is a bloody invasion by Putin of Ukraine, but they're using that as an opportunity to ramp up militarisation and involve us with NATO. And we think we should say no to that.
No to war! No to NATO! No to war! No to NATO! Not only do we want to defend neutrality, we want to see a referendum on neutrality to enshrine it in the Constitution. This is the only way to make the democratic will of the people be heard. Here what is happening is yet again an arrogant government that is assuming to change policy on behalf of people. Do we have to remind this government that NATO killed thousands of people in Iraq, and we want no part of it? Sending more arms, militarisation, only kills more people.
Arms have been found in many places in the world that have connection back to this country. We have to stand up and say we do not want this. We stand for neutrality. We stand for human and environmental security. We want to be an active voice for peace in the world.
We need to retain our neutrality and our independent voice to argue against militarism and war and for peaceful ways to resolve political conflicts. And I think that's more important now than ever when you look at the dangerous situation that is happening with military competition between the big powers.
Very few countries have voted on the militarisation of Europe. Very few people throughout Europe are even aware of how far the military project has gone. And that is because they never were asked to vote. Fair play to Michael D. Higgins. We are indebted to it.
It's a privilege to be here with you this morning to defend Irish neutrality and to protest at Micheál Martin's roadshow designed to undermine Irish independent foreign policy and Irish neutrality. The people of this country have supported the EU on the basis of social, economic and cultural reasons. There is a NATO representative due to speak here this morning. I will be saying your organisation is not welcome in our cities or our country. You are a nuclear-armed military alliance and we want nothing to do with you.
When you look around at the effort from the sages in the Irish Times and the RTE who tried to convince people in this country that our neutrality is something to be ashamed of, that being Irish is backward and has no place in a modern Europe. The first job that they will tackle is to erode the triple lock. And they tell us that this mandate is now no longer fit for purpose. The only purpose it's not fit for is sending troops abroad on missions that haven't got a UN mandate. That means stuff like Iraq, like the Sahel, like going into countries that don't want you. It is nonsense and it is waffle. It's a con by the arms industry to force us to spend money on something we don't need to spend it on.
The truth is, the thing that endangers us, makes us vulnerable to involvement in war is precisely getting involved in military alliances. The best safeguard for this country and even for our troops abroad on real peacekeeping missions is for us to remain neutral and to not be involved or associated with warmongering military powers.
Every single opinion poll shows, despite the policy of the government, the majority of people support neutrality and do not want us involved with NATO. Michael D. Higgins' intervention was also very helpful for him to ring the alarm bells about what he rightly called the dangerous drift in Irish foreign policy away from neutrality, because they know the majority of people are against NATO. I think it has badly backfired on the government and we've exposed it for what it is, which is a pro-war jamboree.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't want your bloody war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Ireland needs a neutral state.
One of the things we're going to be campaigning for over the next while is to have a referendum, a real public debate, and to enshrine neutrality properly into the Irish Constitution.